Hey guys, today we are doing a not so average meal prep, but we are above average here, so we don't do average people things. Today we will be meal prepping Sloppy Joes with a side of chips and salad. Most days, as you guys know, I would have my hair tied back, but today I'm a girl who spent time doing her hair nicely and I want to enjoy it. So anyway, let's go over the ingredients and everything that we're going to need today. So I have my Tupperware. I do have a separate container for the salad dressing that I'm going to use. And then I have buns. I have the King's Hawaiian buns, which are really, really good in my opinion. And then we are also doing a salad, which again, we make things as simple and as easy as possible. So I just have pre-made salad ready to go. I bought 2 packs of these. And then I have my ground beef. I am using 93% lean ground beef, which is going to make a huge difference in macros and calories. It's going to be it's going to have significantly less fat, and then therefore be less calories per the same amount of meat. And so I would suggest using around 90% lean ground beef if you can, and then 93 up to 93. I don't think I've ever seen more than 93% lean ground beef before, but somewhere between 90 and 93, I would say would be a good general area to want to put that leanness of the ground beef in. But yes, and I feel like also because like we're just making Sloppy Joes and we're going to be adding sauce, you know, it doesn't really matter how much fat is in there, whereas if you were like making like patties or something like that, it would matter more. But since we're adding the sauce to it, then it doesn't, how much fat is in there, you can't really taste the difference, or it's not going to make or break how good the ground beef tastes, in my opinion. So for me, I would aim between 90 and 93% lean ground beef. Anyway, so I also have my Sloppy Joe sauce. I just have the Manwich Bold Sloppy Joe sauce, which is the kind that we usually use. And my salad dressing, this one is from Sam's Club. This is the Vidalia onion vinaigrette dressing, again from Sam's Club. You can use whatever kind of dressing you want, use whatever kinds of buns you want. If you want to make your salad by hand, if you have a garden, use your own veggies. If you can use, again, whatever kind of Sloppy Joe sauce you want, and you can buy your ingredients from anywhere you want. So, and then I feel like you can't eat Sloppy Joes without chips, so I do have my chips here. These are the Old Dutch Crunch Jalapeno and Cheddar Kettle chips, which go perfectly with Sloppy Joes in my opinion, so I really like to eat them. Obviously the bags are already opened, so we've already begun enjoying ourselves. And then I also have some sandwich bags to pack the chips as well. And then my handy little food scale as well. My Tupperware and the food scale will be linked in the description, and then I'll have all the details for everything also in the description where I bought it and how much, and all the details for every meal as well, calories, macros, for you guys to reference back to. But anyway, the only thing that we're cooking today is a ground beef, so let's get started with that. Alright guys, our pan is nice and hot. I'm gonna go ahead and spray it with some oil. I am using with the one that I always use, the Pompan 100% avocado oil. Again, I will leave this, if not linked, at least in the description. So I forgot to mention earlier, I have 2 pounds of beef. We will be making 7 meals with all the ingredients that we have today. And then this can of sloppy joe sauce is actually only meant for 1 pound, but for me personally, I don't like a lot of like extra sauce, and so I only use one. So I'll only be using 1 can of sauce for the entire 2 pounds, even though it's meant for 1 pound. And you guys will see later when I add the sauce that it makes like you really don't need. I feel like you don't need a can of sauce per pound of meat, and if you can save yourself the extra calories, then why not? So anyway, let's while the ground beef is cooking, we're gonna prep everything else. So I'm gonna start with the buns first. I'm gonna saran wrap 1 bun, 1 for every meal, because you know, you don't want to put the meat, I don't want to prep it right now with the meat on the bun because of course the bun's going to get soggy. So I'll package everything separately so that when it's time to eat the meal, everything is fresh and ready to go and not all mixed together. And also I got 3,000 feet of saran wrap from Instacart. I had ordered the aluminum trays, you know, when you like grill and you put meat in it. I had ordered those on Instacart from Sam's Club, but the shopper replaced the saran wrap instead with it. It's fine. Now I have enough saran wrap to last me the next 10 years. So I'm just gonna put my bun in here and wrap it up. And saran wrap. You can put it in a little baggie instead if you want. So our buns are all wrapped and ready to go. We're gonna do the salad next. So 1 serving is 1.5 cups. I'm not really sure how much that is going to like add up to. So we're going to measure it out first and then see if we want to still do 1.5 cups as per the serving size suggestion, or maybe do a little more or less. So I'm going to measure out 1.5 cups and also measure how many ounces that is, just so that I don't have to keep measuring out 1.5 cups every time, and I know the exact like ounce, how much it weighs per 1.5 cups. So I'm going to say that's 1.5 cups, which is about 2.4 ounces. To me, let me see, I guess it's not too bad. So we're gonna keep it at this, and so instead of measuring out 1.5 cups every time, I'm just gonna measure about 2.5 ounces. So this will be 1 salad for 1 day. And then, again, I'm gonna package it separately. If I had smaller Tupperware containers, I'd use those, but this is the only size that I have. As I've said in my other meal prep ones, I do think that glass ones are better, but I have these ones, so as long as I have them, then I'll keep using them. But yes, so I'll do the salad, the greens separately, and then I'm gonna package the dressing separately as well, just so that like the greens don't get soggy or things just don't start tasting funky. And then whenever it's time for me to eat the salad, then I'll mix this dressing with the salad and eat it like that. Alright guys, so our beef is all done. I'm not gonna add any salt or pepper either, just because we're gonna add the sauce, and the sauce tastes fine, just with the ground beef already in my opinion. But if you want to salt and pepper it, please feel free to do so. So I'm gonna drain the extra fat out and just let this sit for a couple of minutes. And then we'll put it back on the stove to add the sauce. Alright guys, so next comes a salad dressing. If I had like smaller, like those little sauce containers, I would use those. I do not have those, and I didn't really want to buy any. So I'm just gonna use this. What I'm gonna do is measure 7 servings and put them all in here. And then like, let's say if I were to go to work and there's like a fridge there, I would just leave this in the fridge. And then every day I would just pour a little bit of the sauce onto my salad and then eat it like that. And so even though every day might not be exactly 2 tablespoons, you know that as long as you know that there's 7 servings in here, and as long as you eat all of it and ration it kind of throughout the 7 meals for the 7 days of the week, then you will generally, or you should overall, get the right amount for each day. So I'm gonna measure out, so 1 serving is 2 tablespoons, so I'm gonna measure out 14 tablespoons and then put them in here. So I'm actually only going to do, so I did 10 tablespoons, which is 5 servings. But I feel like looking at how much salad there is and with how much 2 tablespoons of salad dressing, I feel like 2 tablespoons is, for me, my personal preference, is more than enough. So we will do the 10 tablespoons, 5 servings, and then split that throughout the 7 salads. So for me, that's what I'm gonna do. If you wanna do a full serving, 2 tablespoons for every salad that you have, go ahead and do that as well. All right guys, so next we're gonna do chips. If you don't wanna do chips, you can add on anything else that you would want to eat with your sloppy joes. But again, like I said earlier, I like eating chips with my sloppy joes. It doesn't feel complete unless I'm eating chips with sloppy joes. So I have my bake here. So it's 15 chips, about 28 grams is 1 serving. I'm not going to count out 15 chips. I'm going to measure 28 grams and then put them into a Ziploc bag. Let's see. I am going to do 1.5 servings because that's not a lot of chips. So. Alright guys, so 1.5 servings is about 42 grams, which is what I'm going to do for each one. But of course, you can do more or less if you want to, or just not do chips at all. Alright guys, so ground beef all done, not drying, but you know, draining, it's all done draining. So I'm going to put it back in here, and then I'm going to add the sauce to it. If you don't have a can opener like this already, you should get one. I think we just got this from like Marshall's, so I have no idea. The brand is Good Cook, so I have no idea where you could get it, but I'll leave whatever details I know about this in the description. But it goes like this, so it holds onto the top, and then you just turn it backwards, and then it releases it. Anyway, this is not a can opener commercial. You guys could probably care less about that. I just think it's really cool. I'm gonna add the sauce and mix it up. Alright guys, so we're going to measure out the ground beef now for the patties. So I'm going to package them separately as well. And so whenever I eat the meals, then all I would do is heat up the ground beef, put it on, unwrap my little bun, put it in the bun, and then put a little sauce on the salad, and then mix that up, and then have my chips on the side. So for me, that's how I'm going to do it. If there's an easier way for you to do it that's going to be more convenient for you, please by all means do that. But for me, this is, I feel like, the least simple. It still seems kind of complicated, but the most simple way to do it. So I have 2 pounds of meat, which is 32 ounces divided by 7 days is about 4.5 pounds per sloppy joe. But then when you cook the meat, it weighs less. So we're gonna do about 4 pounds each for each day. Yes.
4 ounces or 4 pounds?
Sorry, 4 ounces for each day. So we are all done meal prepping. That was so fast, so easy. I feel like, this may not be like the most ideal, picture perfect, healthy meal, but sometimes you just need something a little bit different, and I don't think it's ever bad to eat the foods you crave or eat things that aren't perfectly like picture perfect healthy. If you guys follow me and like the food that I eat on Instagram, you guys know that I am hardly ever eating like green smoothies or like quinoa and stuff like that. I like to eat real people food, and this is something that I would eat on a normal basis. So if you give it a go, let me know. Again, like I was saying earlier, I know it's a lot of Tupperware, and I wish I had smaller Tupperware containers, but I don't, so I'm using what I have. But whenever I'm ready to eat my meal, or every day when I go to work, well, I work from home, but like if I were to go to work, I would have my this would be my little lunch, and I would bring my dressing. I would heat up the ground beef for the patties. Heat up the ground beef so that I can put it in the patties, and then I would have my dressing, which I put a little bit of salad dressing on, and then that would be my meal, and then enjoy some chips as well. So that is all that I have for today's meal prep. I feel like packaged separately, it doesn't look like a lot of food, but once you put it on the plate, this is literally the exact same measurements of everything. So packaged separately, it doesn't look like a lot, but once you put it on a plate together, this is a pretty hearty meal. But yes, anyway, thanks so much for hanging out with me today, guys, for meal prepping with me. If you have any other questions for me, please feel free to drop a comment down below. If you're wondering how many macros, calories should you be consuming, I'm going to refer you over to my nutrition playlist where we talk about how to track your macros and how many calories you should be eating. And I also even have a video on how it's a 12-week step-by-step weight loss guide. So any questions regarding nutrition, please feel free to check out my nutrition playlist. And then if you guys have any other questions for me, feel free to leave a comment down below. Of course, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. Make sure to do that. Turn that notification bell on so you don't miss out on other great videos like this for daily fitness tips and motivation. Like me on Facebook and follow me on Instagram. Thanks again for hanging out with me today, guys, and have a great rest of your weekend.